Gospel of Luke, chapter 10. I invite you to imagine a journey that takes place just beyond your comfort zone, into a world where faith and action go hand in hand, where compassion knows no boundaries, and where small acts of love can change lives. Today, we're diving into the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, a chapter that challenges us to see the world through a lens of faith, kindness, and purpose. Whether you're familiar with these teachings or this is your first encounter, I encourage you to listen closely, as these words have the power to inspire change, not just in our actions, but in the way we see ourselves and those around us. The mission of the 72. The chapter begins with Jesus appointing 72 disciples and sending them out in pairs to go ahead of him into every town and place he was about to visit. He instructs them to carry no money, no bag, and no extra sandals, but to trust in the hospitality of those they meet. Jesus tells them, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field." Now, this is a powerful image of the harvest, and it reminds us that there is a vast amount of good to be done in the world, but not enough people willing to do it. It speaks to each one of us to rise up and take our place in spreading kindness, love, and healing to those in need. Jesus wasn't looking for the most qualified or the most prepared. He was looking for those with willing hearts. And when Jesus sent out the 72 with nothing but their faith, he was teaching them to rely not on their own resources or abilities, but on God's provision. It's a lesson for all of us. Sometimes we hesitate to do good because we think we lack the resources, the knowledge, or the influence. But what this passage tells us is that we need to begin, and that's all we need, just an open heart to trust, and everything else will follow. Now, Jesus also warned them that they would be like lambs among wolves. And this illustrates that living a life of faith and love is not always easy. We will face challenges, skepticism, and even hostility. Yet, he empowers us to move forward with courage, knowing that even in difficult situations, we are never alone. The parable of the Good Samaritan. This chapter also contains the famous parable of the Good Samaritan, which begins with a question from a lawyer who asks Jesus, "Who is my neighbor?" To answer, Jesus tells the story of a man who was beaten and robbed while traveling. As he lay wounded by the roadside, two men, a priest and a Levite, passed by without helping him. Then a Samaritan, someone from a group traditionally despised by the Jews, stopped and showed compassion, tending to the man's wounds and ensuring he was taken care of. Now, the message is clear. True love and compassion are not bound by religious or social labels. The Good Samaritan teaches us that love is not about who you are or where you come from. It's about the actions you take. He didn't help because he had to. He helped because he saw another human being in need and chose to act out in kindness. And this parable turns our understanding of neighbor upside down. It shows that our neighbor is not defined by proximity or similarity, but by the willingness to show mercy and kindness to those around us, especially to those who might be different from us or whom we might find difficult to love. It challenges us to break down our walls of prejudice, judgment, and fear, and to open our hearts to acts of radical compassion. Jesus ends the parable by saying, "Go and do likewise." Now, this is not just a suggestion. It's a call to action for each of us to live out our faith in real and tangible ways. It means stepping out of our comfort zones, going beyond what's convenient, and truly embodying the spirit of love. The story of Mary and Martha. The final part of the Gospel of Luke chapter 10 tells the story of Mary and Martha. As Jesus visits their home, Martha is busy with all the preparations, while Mary sits at Jesus' feet, listening to his words. Frustrated, Martha asks Jesus to tell Mary to help her with the work, but Jesus gently responds, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Now, this story speaks to the balance between doing and being. Martha's actions are not wrong. After all, she was just trying to serve Jesus. But Mary chose to focus on what matters most, being present and fully engaged in the moment with Jesus. Sometimes our efforts to do more can make us lose sight of what's truly important, connecting with our purpose, our loved ones, and our faith. Now, this isn't a condemnation of hard work or responsibilities. Don't get me wrong. It's a gentle reminder to pause and reflect on our priorities. In our busy lives, it's easy to get caught up in our to-do lists, our jobs, or our ambitions, and forget to nurture our inner selves. Jesus reminds us that while work and service are important, they should never overshadow the need to be still, to listen, and to connect with what truly nourishes our souls. Now, as we leave here today, let's hold on to the lessons from the Gospel of Luke chapter 10. Reflect on the 72 who stepped out in faith even when they felt unprepared. Think of the Good Samaritan, whose compassion crossed cultural boundaries and changed a life. And remember Mary, who understood the greatest gift we can offer is often our full presence and attention. I ask you to carry these thoughts with you this week. What harvest is calling your name today? Who in your life is waiting for a touch of compassion, a gesture of kindness that only you can offer? And how can you create a moment of stillness in your life to listen, to grow, and to truly be present? The Gospel of Luke chapter 10 isn't just a lesson for the past. It's a call to action for today. It invites each of us to live with purpose, to act with kindness, and to love without limits. Let this message inspire you to look beyond the ordinary, to seek the extraordinary in others, and to transform your world with faith, love, and compassion. May you go out today with courage, knowing that every act of love you sow in this world is a seed that can blossom into something beautiful. And may you find peace in the journey, trusting that in all things, you are never alone. Thank you, and may your path be guided by the light of faith and the strength of love. Have a beautiful day, my friends. I'll be back tomorrow with the Gospel of Luke, chapter 11. Thank you.